RougeRadio.com. Tom Halleck with the final CIS report of the season. We welcome Moe Khan this week. Welcome to this week's show, Mo.
Thanks a lot, Tom. It's an honor to be with you guys once again.
Well, let's talk about what possibly was the greatest football game ever played in Canadian university football history. That was the 2011 Vanier Cup, which played out Friday night in BC Place between the McMaster Marauders and the Laval Rouge, the defending national champions. The Marauders win their first Vanier Cup in school history in overtime by a score of 41-38.
Well, you know what, Tom? This is a game that, going into it, first and foremost, was a big opportunity for the CIS to display two excellent football teams in front of a great crowd that there was, about 25,000 fans that were there on Friday night. And overall, what it came down to, Tom, was the fact that McMaster did not back down from Laval. They matched punch for punch with the Rouge from the first quarter onwards, and they got off to a great start. They were able to capitalize on a few mistakes by the Rouge, and Kyle Quillen, a guy that many people had the spotlight on him going into this football game, definitely proved why he will be a CFL draft pick, because he was able to carry the offense, throwing and running the football. And without question, this was probably one of the best games that I saw from Kyle Quillen, because he did not get faced at all, seeing a very good front seven from the Rouge, probably the number one ranked defense in the CIS football ranks. And as a whole, no doubt in my mind, he played a great game, and that's why McMaster went through, because of his confidence and his level to be able to play his game and give everyone else the opportunity to make plays. It was a fantastic finish.
Indeed it was. Let's talk about the McMaster defense in the first half, how they absolutely smothered the Rouge offense. It was just incredible.
Well, you know what, in this football game, that was probably the one weak link that Laval had, was their O-line. Their O-line is very young. They were decimated with injuries throughout the season, and a lot of people wondered, can they go through the game and go through the season with what they had? And I was quite surprised, not surprised on McMaster's part, because Mac's defense has been playing spectacular the last 3-4 weeks of the year, where they contained Tyler Varga to an extent. They manhandled Queen's offense by getting 6 INTs in that football game back in the OUA playoffs. And no doubt in my mind, Mac came with that same intensity, and they were able to bring it. And Bruno Prudhomme, the quarterback for Laval, did not feel comfortable at all in the pocket, as you could tell by the number of sacks he took for the Mac front seven. And no doubt, this was a great game plan by Greg Knox, former CFL player, in containing Sebastian Levesque, forced him to become a lot more comfortable. We saw what happened with Levesque. He took off his football gloves, and he was out of his element as a whole. So really, a lot of props have to go to Step Patazak and his defense for being able to game plan and minimize the Laval offense and force them into a lot of second and long situations throughout the football game.
All right, let's talk about one particular man on the McMaster defense. We talked about him a little bit in the CJFL report over the last season. He joined McMaster this year. We're talking about Aram Isho. What a monster game this kid had. I'm sure some CFL scouts are sat straight up in their seats and have him on their radar now.
But Ishel is the guy that Laval did not have a great success in containing at all. He was a man who was able to be all over the field, make tackles, a lot of big plays from him. And as a whole, I mean, I was quite surprised to see one player change the momentum of the football game against Laval, because Laval is known to really take out a lot of star players or so-called best players on the opposition. And without question, Ishel definitely displayed his true cannon. He has that instinct ability to really change the flow of the game, and he did that a few times throughout any cup.
McMaster rolled out to a 23-0 halftime lead. We'll go into the second half, and turns out early in the third quarter, the Rouge caught a little bit of a break. The Ryu punt return touchdown.
Well, you know what? That's probably one of the strengths of Laval is their special teams, and if you look at throughout the season in the Quebec Conference in the playoffs, they have gotten some big plays on their special teams. And going into the second half, in my mind, I was saying to myself, at some point they're going to break open a touchdown. And that's what they got with Guillaume Rioux, who made a fantastic read on the blocks that he was given and going upfield to get that touchdown and really give life to the Rouge going into the second half. And if you look at it, though, Tom, at the end of the day, let's not forget, though, right? McMaster won by 3 points on the game-winning field goal. Laval missed a critical field goal in the first half when Boris Bidet hit the uprights of the field goal post, and that was 3 lost points. So that could have been the difference of Laval winning the football game and them losing that football game.
Exactly. That was a makeable field goal by Boris Bidet that went awry.
It definitely did went awry, and he's a guy that has a strong leg. And let's not discredit Max kicker Trepinga what he did, but Bidet has hit those field goals in his sleep, and I was quite surprised that he right because the strength and length that he got on the kick, especially indoors where there was no outside element affecting anyone's kicks. Let's
talk for a second about Laval's big comeback, and Sebastian Levesque, one of the big guns in their comeback. He has an amazing game too.
He definitely did. First half, he got off to a slow start. The fumble really hurt his confidence early on, and a lot of the guys on the bench were telling, listen, Sebastian, man, just relax out there. You know what you can do. We've seen you do it before. Just play your football game and go from there. And the key thing he did, he took off his football gloves because it must have gotten really warm and moist at BC Place. And in the second half, he had a much better performance where he was able to control the tempo. Laval is a run team first on their offense, and that's their bread and butter, and then they go to the passing game. But Levesque did open up some holes for guys like Julian Fioli-Cadino, who had a fantastic game for the Rouge in his last game as a collegiate. And look, Levesque is a guy that definitely put on himself, and I'm sure he won't let this loss go by easily, but I'm sure that he will take this and learn from it to become a better football player down the road.
That he definitely will be. Now let's have a look at the awards which were presented as part of the CFL Awards on Thursday night. Let's have a look-see at the award winners. Let's start with the Peter Gorman Trophy winner, Tyler Varga of Western Ontario.
No question, Varga had a fantastic year for the Western Mustangs. Watching him play initially, his O-line, and a lot of credit has to go to his O-line. Matt Norman in particular opened up a lot of holes for him to get those touchdowns and big yards of gain per carry. But at the end of the day, he's only in his first year, and he's going to get better and better, stronger, and a lot smarter in reading his downfield blocks. And I think this guy is a special talent that will definitely have a bright career with UWO and maybe onto the next level at the CFL and maybe even the NFL if he gets that look down the road.
All right, let's go to the J.P. Metras Trophy. Arnaud Gascon-Nadon of Laval is your winner of that trophy.
Well, I've seen him play, and he's a really good player. And what he brings to a football team is his length. I mean, he's a little bit skinny in terms of the fact that he's not thick enough, but he'll get that as he moves on to the next level. But Gascon-Nadon is a guy that has that ability. He's a smart player who knows how to read and shed blocks well enough. And at the end of the day, even though he's not won the Vanier Cup, he's probably one of the better D-linemen in the CIS, along with the kid from Canada West out in Regina, that will definitely be the most sought-out prospect in the CFL draft in May.
You're talking about Akeem Hicks. I've seen him play a couple times this year. The kid is fabulous. He'll be in the CFL in a little while anyway. Let's go to the President's Trophy winner, Concordia's Max Caron.
Hey, Max Carroll, I've seen this kid for the last 2 years at Concordia. He has definitely learned from the best, from Luc Pellon, and, of course, Phil Roberts, the DC at Concordia. Has definitely groomed him. There's a reason why they call it Concordia Linebacker U, of course, with Corey Greenwood in the NFL, with the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Donovan brothers, Patrick and Mickey Donovan, all winning those awards. This kid, Carroll, has the ability to be a special talent. He has the strength, the IQ to play football, to become better as a whole. And the thing with him, though, that makes him a special talent is that he has no fear whatsoever to go out there and make a tackle. No matter how big you are, he's able to drop into coverage, make a lot of INTs, and he's an excellent tackle. I've not seen this kid miss one tackle at all throughout his 2 years at Concordia. And remember this, he's still a young football player and has plenty of room to grow and get better as a football player down the road.
And he's just wrapped up his sophomore season with the Concordia Stingers. Now let's go to the Heck Crichton Award winner, the big one of the night. In some quarters, no surprise, it was UBC's Billy Green, the winner of the Heck Crichton Trophy.
I'm not surprised at all. Billy Green, this is the guy that Jim Mullen spoke about going into the season, and as the UBC team, first and foremost. that this is a team that could surprise you, and they did. They went to the Canada West Finals. They lost to the Calgary Downs, which probably was a better, more experienced football team than the Thunderbirds are right now. But Billy Green, this kid's a special. He's the Canadian Tim Tebow. His size, his strength, his ability to create plays and keep plays alive has definitely made him a special talent. And you wonder what he will be if he moves on to the CFL. He's a football player. You put him at any position out there, he will excel at that position. And that's why I like Billy Green, without question, one of the best out there. And I have no qualms whatsoever with him being named the Heck Crichton Award winner, because he definitely carried his football team to the next level, and they will be a force to be reckoned with for years to come.
Yes, indeed. He averaged 326 yards passing a game and led the fourth most productive offense overall in the country, 471 yards per game. Moe Khan, thank you very much for joining us this week. Tom Halleck for RougeRadio.com. That is your final CIS report of 2011.